Hello, we shall be discussing on gymnosperm. Uh, the terminology gymnosperm includes gymnos means naked, sperm means seed. So gymnosperm is referred to as naked seeded plant. A gymnosperm are a group of plants in which the ovules are not enclosed and remain exposed. Gymnosperm include medium-sized tree and shrubs. However, there is one tall tree that belong to this group of plant, that is sequoia. So sequoia is the tree that belong to gymnosperm. The plant belonging to this group have well differentiated root, stem and leaves. Let's first discuss on the root system. The root of this plant have taproot system. In taproot system, there is one main root that grows downward towards the soil, and the other small roots arises from the sides of this root. The root also form, the root of this gymnospermic plant also form a symbiotic association with the fungus and cyanobacteria or blue-green algae. So the association between the root of this gymnospermic plant with the fungus is called as mycorrhiza. So mycorrhizal association is the association between the root of the higher plants, that is the gymnospermic plant, with the fungus. This mycorrhizal association is found in trees like pine tree. So pine is belonging to this gymnospermic plant. Now another association is also found in these gymnospermic plants, where the root of this gymnospermic plant like cycas forms a specialized structure or specialized root called as the coralloid roots that have a symbiotic associations with the nitrogen fixing bacteria or the cyanobacteria or blue-green algae. So coralloid roots are formed by the gymnospermic plants like cycas, which harbor nitrogen fixing bacteria, that is the cyanobacteria or the blue-green algae. The stem of this group of plant is branched in case of cycas, or it can also be unbranched in case of pine trees. The leaves are well adapted to withstand extreme temperature, humidity and wind. In conifers, that means those plants which bear cones from where the spores are developed. So in conifers plants like pine, the leaves form a needle-like structure with thick cuticle and sunken stomata. So the main function of this thick sunken stomata is to prevent loss of water from the plant body. Conifers are a group of gymnospermic plants that develop a cone-like sporophylls from which the spores are developed. So sporophylls are the leaf of the plant where the cones or where the cone or the sporangia develop. Now gymnosperms are heterosporous in nature. Heterosporous means, hetero means different, so gymnosperm produce different spores. So the spores that are produced are the microspore and the megaspore. Microspore here refers to the pollen grain, and megaspore here refers to the female. We are referring to the female part of the plant. Now the female part of the plant, here we are referring to the egg or the archegonia. So this microspore and megaspore are developed within a sac-like structure called as the sporangia that are born on the sporophyll. Now this these sporangia are grouped together, forming a compact structure called as the strobili or cone. So the strobili or cone, that is bearing microsporangia and the microsporophyll. That means microsporangia here refers to the cone that is bearing the microspore. Yes, this is bearing the microspore, and the microsporophyll is the leaf which is bearing the microsporangia. So the strobili bearing microsporophyll and microsporangia are called as microsporangiate or male strobili or male cone. And this male microspore, they later on develop into male gametophyte. Now when we say male gametophyte, we are referring to the male gametes. So male gametophyte means we are referring to the plant body that is given rise to the male gametes. Now the cones or the strobili that is bearing the megasporophyll and the megasporangia or ovule is called as the macrosporangiate or female strobili. Now the male and female cones or strobili may develop in the same tree or in the different tree. So plants like pinus bear both male and female strobili on the same tree. Now from the male strobili or the male cone, the pollen grain are developed and they are being released into the air current for pollinations. So these pollen grain, when they reach the female female strobili, they set on the female strobili and they release out the pollen tube through which the content of the pollen grain will enter into the archegonia or the egg. Now the pollen grain carries the male gametes. So these male gametes of this pollen grain, when it germinates inside the megasporangia containing the megaspore, that is, we are referring to the egg. The pollen grain, once on reaching the megasporangia, it releases the male gametes, and these male gametes will fuse with the egg in the female strobili. So the fusion of the male and female gametes will result in the formation of the zygote. And so these zygotes, once after fertilization, these zygotes will develop into embryo and then it develop into seeds. So the seeds in this plant, that is in gymnospermic, in case of gymnospermic plant, the seeds remain exposed. They do not have ovary wall. Let's discuss the seed of mango. In case of mango, the seed of the mango is covered with a fruit wall, but in case of this gymnospermic plant, there is no fruit wall and the seed remain exposed. So it is due to this reason the gymnospermic plant are also called as the naked seeded plants. Now let's discuss on the next group of plant, that is the Pteridophytes. Pteridophytes are a group of plants that includes ferns and are widely used for medicinal purposes, for soil binders, and as ornamental plants also. So from the evolutionary point of view, Pteridophytes are the first terrestrial plant. That means these Pteridophytes are the first plant to survive or invade land. This Pteridophyte possesses vascular tissue, that is xylem and phloem. In this group of plants, the predominant plant body is sporophytic plant body. That means the first plant body that form result in the formation of spore. So the predominant plant body in case of Pteridophyte is sporophytic in nature. Now these spores, once they are released, they can germinate and develop into the gametophytic stage again. So sporophytic stage come first and the gametophytic stage comes second. So gametophytic stage here refers to the stage of a plant which gives rise to the gametes, that is male and female gametes. The plant body is divided into root, stem and leaf. That means there is a well differentiation of root, stem and leaf, and the leaves are of two types, small and large leaves. So the small leaves are called as the microsporophyll and large leaves are called as the macrosporophylls. The sporophytic plant body bear a sac-like structure called as the sporangia that are developed from the leaf-like appendages called as the sporophyll. So sporophyll are the leaf that bears the sporangia, and sporangia are the sac-like structure which bear the microspore or megaspore. In some cases, the sporophylls form a compact structure called as the strobila or cone in case of Selaginella. From the sporangia, many spores are produced by meiotic divisions, that means meiosis. These spores later on germinate and give rise to the gametophytic plant body called as the protellus. So the gametophytic plant body produces the gametes for sexual reproductions, and this gametophytic plant body bears male and female sex organs. The male sex organ are called as the enteridia that produces the male gametes, that is enterozoites, and the female sex organ is called as the archegonium that releases the female gamete, that is the egg. Now the fusion of this, once the male and female gametes are formed, the fusion of the male and female gametes will result in the formations of zygotes, and this fusion of the male and female gamete is enhanced by the presence of water. Now so from this zygote, that means after the fertilization of male and female gametes, zygote will be formed. So from this zygote, multicellular sporophytes develop again, and this is how the life cycle of the pteridophyte continue. So some of the examples of plant that is belonging to pteridophytes are Xylotum, Selaginella equisetum. Equisetum is also called as the horse tail. So this is all about pteridophytes.